good night to be at the ballpark. The Nationals are here. Look at that, 12-10, and the Marlins at 11-11. One of our favorite nights, Bark at the Park night. And the Marlins get ready for a weekend series against the Washington Nationals, the surprising Washington Nationals. And we'll have dogs and players running an obstacle course. Look at these standings. The Mets in first place, the Phillies behind them, then the Nationals a full game ahead of the Marlins. Hi everybody, Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hunt. Now I could ask you what to make of the dogs out there, but we'll have all night to do that. What do you make of the standings we just saw?
Well, it's pretty amazing. If you think about it, too, Atlanta at the bottom has a 9-game losing streak right now. The Mets are on a nice roll. They just took care of the Dodgers. Everything's kind of bunched up in that East. I like that.
In 2006, the Marlins set a Major League record with 4 rookies that won at least 10 games as starters. They still have 3 of those starters on their staff. The other one pitches against them. Let's start with Ricky Nolasco. He was one of those rookies. Ricky tonight will try to duplicate what he's done his last 2 starts.
Hey, Ricky has been on a terrific roll. His last couple of starts against Philadelphia and in Colorado, he's gone 17 innings, giving up just 12 hits and 2 runs, 13 strikeouts and 3 walks during that time, going 2-0. Hey, the other good sign, he is 7-1 in his career against the Washington Nationals. He makes just his 2nd start this year at home.
All right, the starter that's no longer on the staff, of course, is Scott Olson. Olson's injury-plagued year last year was not a good one in Washington. He had shoulder surgery in the offseason. He's back. Man, his last start, he was terrific against the Dodgers.
Yeah, think about it. Scott Olson in that 2006 season that you were talking about, Rich, was 12-10. This left-hander has quality stuff. We've all seen that. And he's coming off a good outing against the Dodgers, 7 shutout innings. But we know him as a Marlin. He'll use that breaking ball, very good changeup, and he'll go up and down and in and out with his fastball.
And this is a Nationals team that right now has a pretty good vibe about it. So
yeah, they do. They just look relaxed. I know watching them around the batting cage, they have a different feeling and a different vibe, as you said, this year under Jim Riggleman.
They have a different record, too. They're 2 games over 500 and playing well. So this should be an intriguing weekend series. When we get back, the pros versus Joes. From Iraq to Sun Life Stadium. We'll explain when we return.
Marlins had an off day yesterday, but after Wednesday's afternoon game against the Padres, several Marlins headed up to the club level here at Sun Life Stadium, and they took part in an interactive program with U.S. military personnel. The players matched up with soldiers and sailors for some interactive computer gaming. The program is called Pros vs. G.I. Joes, operated in association with the USO. It electronically connects players with active servicemen and women for some recreational gaming.
The NFL, NBA, NASCAR, UFC, this is actually our first Major League Baseball stadium. We did the Major League Baseball All-Star game last year, but that was it. So this is the first time we actually came to a MLB stadium and did it. It's incredible. It's great.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, the technology we have now is unbelievable. Just hanging out with them, spending time with them, and just hanging out. It's really cool.
Marlin players took on the military in Guitar Hero and Call of Duty.
I think everybody knows what they put on the line for us every day. So, I should have let them win, you're right, but I'm too much of a competitive person. I had to step up and get the W.
But it's a great thing that these guys are doing through the USO to hook you guys up and just to give them a little escapism.
No, absolutely. Anytime they can get away, just to clear their heads and just kind of escape, what their reality is right now. It's awesome.
Really cool, really cool. I'm sure, they love it, and, whenever I can play video games, I'm always down. So, it's good for both sides.
Strategy was to keep the scope up every time you get around the corner. You throw a grenade, and then you come around the corner, and you bring the scope up ready for action.
Did you kneel and crawl around the corner?
Kneel sometimes when I want to escape.
Ooh, escaping. That's important. Escaping out of the midst of fire.
I think it's great that, Volstat, Wes came over here, JJ, Dan Meyer, guys that, weren't involved with the first trip are still down to come out and donate some of their time to these people, who are obviously our heroes.
That was a great thing the players did. It's a great program, Pros versus G.I. Joes, and we had just a little taste of the adventures of BC and CC in there. May have to expand on that in the future. For tonight, the task is beat the Washington Nationals, the surprise team in the National League so far this season. They're going to have a winning month for the first time in several years. Game 1 coming up next. Ricky Nolasco against Scott Olson. Rich Waltz and Tommy Hutton on the way with all the action next here on Fox Sports Florida.
Go 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. Bye, Toyota. Moving forward. And by Corona. Kick back, relax with an ice cold Corona and lime. Enjoy a Corona today. All right, let's do this. Bark in the Park night. The Nationals come in at 12-10. They are led by their speedy center fielder, Niger Morgan. Adam Kennedy, the veteran, is at second base. Ryan Zimmerman's first game in about 9 days after a sore hamstring. Adam Dunn, Josh Willingham, and there is Pudge. He is 4 at-bats shy of qualifying for the league lead in hitting. Roger Bernardina is in right. Ian Desmond, a promising young shortstop, only on the mound hitting 9.
Got some speed in that lineup with Morgan, Desmond, certainly Bernardina. Ricky Nolasco is going to have to deal with some of that, but he has been outstanding his last 2 starts, both on the road, once in Philadelphia and Colorado. He's 7-1 in his career against this Nationals club.
And he goes to work on Niger Morgan. and it's 1-0. Brian Gorman is our home plate umpire. Morgan, who joined the club last year, made an immediate impact, and he rips one down the right field line. That's a foul ball. The Nationals, just to put this into perspective, were 59 and 103 last year, worst in baseball. And they finished with a 7-game winning streak. But when Morgan was in the lineup, they were 23 and 29, which is a marked improvement from their winning percentage. Ricky's 1-1 pitch. That one fouled in and out of the glove of Ronnie Paulino. Jim Riggleman took over when Manny Acta was fired, and the Nationals felt that the team showed enough improvement in the second half of the season. They retained Riggleman. The breaking ball by Nolasco, the count 1-2.
Yeah, this guy's a real spark plug, Nitro Morgan. And Ricky Nolasco, as he always does, you notice he's going right after him. Ricky hates to walk guys. 22 strikeouts, 7 walks in his almost 30 innings.
Morgan, one of the real unique players in all of baseball. He grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area and was a hockey player. In fact, he went and played major junior hockey in Regina. It's sort of the Canadian equivalent of major college football. Then decided to play baseball and went to community college in Walla Walla, Washington. And from there was drafted, got to the big leagues with Pittsburgh, and was traded for Lastings Millage last year. The Regina Pats.
And he's giving Ricky quite a battle. What you're saying, it's been quite a different way that he got here compared to a lot of other kids who start out playing youth baseball, and he came in a different direction.
Yeah, he came from a different sport.
Yeah.
1-2 coming. Got him, buried it. Paulino digs it out. And Nolasco has his first strikeout.
Well, some good pitches by Ricky. Finally, he was able to put away Nigel Morgan. There's the defense tonight behind Ricky with Coughlin, Maven, and Cody Ross in that outfield. Around the infield, Cantu's at third. Hanley, Ugla, Gabby Sanchez. Some good numbers amongst rookies for Gabby. Ronnie Paulino behind the plate.
Adam Kennedy, one of the veterans sprinkled in on this team. Longtime Angel, was a Cardinal for a couple of seasons. Also played with Oakland. And Nolasco misses outside. And Kennedy, of course, we just saw his double play buddy. They were world champions with the Angels, David Eckstein.
And now he has Eckstein's brother as a batting coach.
That's right. Rick Eckstein is the hitting coach for this Nationals team.
Interesting mix that Jim Riggleman has at second base with Kennedy and Christian Guzman, a couple of veterans, a couple of guys who've been around.
Well, it's nice to have those two as well when you've got a young shortstop like Desmond. Ricky gets a strike and it's 3-1. On a line right to Gabby Sanchez. Nolasco was behind 3-0. He comes back to get the out. And now the big lumber comes up with Zimmerman and Dunn right around the corner.
Gabby had him played just right. Sinking line drive, about ankle high. You know, Ricky making just his second start at home. He started on the road in New York, in Philadelphia, in Colorado.
Zimmerman making his first start in 9 days. Breaking ball for a strike. He's had a hamstring issue. As the Nationals have played pretty well without him. They won 2 of 3 in Chicago. Won 2 of 3 against the Dodgers. Split a 4-game series with the Rockies. And then took 2 of 3 from Milwaukee. And that was after a 1-3 start.
Well, they're going to have to be real careful with Ryan Zimmerman. He's a gamer. He wants to play, but that hamstring can bother him all year if he kind of goes in and out of the lineup and tweaks it every now and then.
You'll notice our center field camera is at a different angle for this ball game. We have moved it to give you a little better view of home plate. It's a true center field look as opposed to the usual off-center look. So inside, outside is going to be a lot clearer. And we'll see how it goes. Certainly we'll take your feedback on Email Tuesday.
So Tim out there in center field giving us a nice view. You can see directly over the head of Ricky Nolasco.
Zimmerman fouls it back. I like the shot too.
Yeah.
And it was always off center traditionally in baseball, and a lot of clubs are starting to move it closer to a true center. We got plenty of room out there in center, so we're playing with it. That ball's drilled left field and deep and up in the blue seats. And Ryan Zimmerman is back. Third homer of the season.
Boy, this guy's just a quality hitter. He's been an all-star. That's his second career home run against Ricky Nolasco. He has 6 career hits against Ricky, 2 of them home runs. Pitch was up. Ronnie Paulino reaching for it, and Zimmerman took it up a long way.
Here's Adam Dunn now, and Nolasco misses outside. Dunn, in his second year with the Nationals, put up Adam Dunn type numbers last year. 38 homers, drove in 105. Big walks, big strikeouts, big fly, center field, deep. Maben back, leaps, and it's off something. I'm not sure what it hit. It's in play. Ross will pick it up, and he'll fire it in. Dunn has got himself a triple. Maben went up to try to make the catch, and the ball either hit his glove or the top of the wall and took a quick right turn.
Good effort by Cameron Maben. He just couldn't quite get there on a ball that was blasted to straightaway center field. And that angle, see how the angle right there in that padding kicked it into right center. Alertly, Cody Ross was there. Here's a guy who doesn't hit many triples. The last triple for Adam Dunn was in 2007. That's his 5th career triple. And that's why he's laughing.
The Nationals are the leaders in the National League in triples. And here is Willingham.
You and I were talking before the game, Rich. This is a tough middle part of the lineup. When you start with Zimmerman, Dunn, Willingham, and Pudge Rodriguez all in a row.
Willingham is having a very good start. He is second in the National League in on-base percentage. Always a patient hitter. Hammer .446 on-base percentage. He has walked 19 times.
Yeah, just 9 strikeouts go along with that.
And Ricky's out in front of him 0-2 with Dunn at third base. Pitch just missed. Dunn a triple, and that followed the Zimmerman home run.
Now the Nationals have made Ricky work here in this first inning. That was pitch number 25.
Trying to get out of it with just the 1 run. Is 2-2 to the hammer. Back up the middle into center field, a base hit and an RBI single for Josh Willingham. And the Nationals have come out and made a statement here in the first inning.
Well, watching Josh Willingham, the Hammer, have the kind of at-bats we saw so often, very patient, got a 2-2 pitch, a little bit out over the plate. Might have hit it off the end of the bat, but right back up the middle and got himself an RBI, number 13 on the year.
Well, next in line is Pudge, and he's having a great start. 24 for 60, a 400 average. He's driven in 8. .38 is Pudge. And Velasco will chase his former teammate back. Of course, his 1 year in Florida, 2003, a world championship. Was the MVP of the National League Championship Series win over the Cubs.
Way at 321, had a couple of home runs in that series.
Of course, one of the great scenes was the finish of the division series with Pudge clutching the ball after a collision at home plate. JT Snow.
Yeah, on a throw from
Jeff Conine. Willingham is running, and Pudge is hitting into left field. Coughlin picks it up, drops it, Hammer's running to third. Coughlin's throw is in time, and Willingham is out. Marlins get a break. The Nationals get 2 runs. Canine-flavored lineups with Brian Sanchez.
And leading off, batting first is center fielder Cameron Mad Dog Maben. Batting second, left fielder Chris Corgi Coughlin. Batting third, shortstop Hanley Ren 10 Ramirez. And batting fourth, at third base, Jorge Chihuahua Cantu. In the 5-hole is second baseman Dan Pug Ugla. And catching, batting sixth, Ronnie Rottweiler Paulino. Batting seventh, right fielder Cody the K9 Ross. Batting eighth, first baseman Gabby the Guard Dog Sanchez. And pitching in the 9-hole, Ricky Pitbull Nolasco.
Very nice lineups. Juggled the dogs, didn't drop them.
Got the great K9 nicknames, and he did it all in one take, I was told.
Scott Olson back on a very familiar mound. He delivers down low to Cameron Maben.
Yeah, you don't think that Scott Olson will have any trouble tonight focusing on this mound against his former club. And he's been spotted a 2-run lead.
And he did not have any trouble focusing his last time out. You can see his career record here in this ballpark. He didn't even get 2 runs his last time out. The 1 run was enough. First 2 outings, not so good. Look at his last start against the Dodgers.
Yeah, and the Nationals won that game 1-0.
3-1. Maben, Coughlin, Hanley. Marlins try to answer back here in the first. Maben rolls it towards short. Ian Desmond makes the play. Nationals have improved themselves defensively this year.
Yeah, they have. Desmond made 3 early errors. He's gone 16 straight without an error. Willingham, a lot of speed between Morgan and Bernardina. Zimmerman, he's tough over third. Adam Dunn's improving at first. The veteran Adam Kennedy at second. And we know about the 13 gold gloves of Pudge behind the plate.
Chris Coughlin. His career numbers against the Nationals great. His start this year, not so great. He takes a fastball for a strike. He has, however, hit in 5 consecutive games. And he really has shown in the last week that he's starting to identify pitches better. A little more consistent contact as he tries to climb out of a April hole.
Wow, he was called on a swing there. Pitch was low. Home plate umpire Brian Gorman called a swing.
Let's look. Not a swing.
Not a swing.
Oh, 2 misses.
There's that shot of Pudge, the catcher moving way outside, and the umpire kind of staying on the inner part.
1-2
goes
coming
again.
And it's out.
Having seen Scott Olson, excuse me, Rich, we know sliders he'll throw, changeup. Sometimes he gets in a groove where he uses changeup a lot and spots that fastball.
And Pudge is as active a catcher as you'll find in the game. And moving in and out. And the fact that he's still doing it at 38 is pretty impressive.
Pretty incredible. Hey, by the way, we didn't see a lot of these kind of at-bats from Chris Coughlin early in the year, getting the count 3-2, working the pitcher.
It's down low. Coughlin works a walk.
Nicely done.
And that was after going 0-2.
I think the other thing we found out, obviously his former teammates know, if you can get under the skin of Scott Olson a little bit, maybe if some bad plays are made, you maybe make him make some mistakes. All of a sudden, he'll make some mistakes, and you can capitalize. But a good competitor.
Seems odd to see that shot of Olson and not see drips of water coming off his cap, which was always a trademark when he pitched in this stadium. Now, that may start in the second or the third inning.
We're just underway.
Usually there was a waterfall coming off of Scotty's cap during his starts. Hanley up. You could say that about just any starter, any young starter in the big leagues. If you could just get under his skin a little bit, or if you could disrupt him. 3 for 8 against Olson. Coughlin's over at first. And Olson's gone 2-0 on Hanley.
All of a sudden, he can't find the strike zone after getting 0-2 on Chris Coughlin, walking him on 4 pitches, and 2-0 to Hanley.
Hanley to right. Bernardina comes in, and he makes the catch.
Right there is a poor 2-0 swing. And that's why Hanley hadn't really gotten on track yet. You have to count 2-0 in your favor. You've got a pitcher out there struggling, throwing strikes. You don't do him a favor and swing at a pitch that's borderline. You're looking for something out over the plate. Like see Hanley with a better swing on 2-0.
Cantu now. But directing traffic and Olsen stepping off. Cantu's RBI totals tops in the National League. One of the keys the Nationals feel for their good month, and it's their first winning month since 2007. Jim Riggleman says it. The veterans like Pudge, like Christian Guzman, like Kennedy, have all bought in to the fact that there are some young kids on this team, and that this is a team trying to make huge leaps of improvement from the last 2 years. Both the last 2 years, the Nationals had the worst record in all of baseball.
And of course, the organization holding on to their development of their #1 pick, Steven Strasburg, and he will be here soon, sometime in June, I would imagine. You're right about Pudge. You watch him back there, he's so active. It's almost like the Nationals have another manager back there. They have a captain back there. They have a veteran back. It's like they have an extra player having Pudge behind the plate.
The impact he's made on Will Nieves, their other young catcher, has been certainly important. The fact that he's hitting .400 doesn't hurt either. Coughlin was leaning, and he gets back in time.
Might have been something that Pudge talked to Scott Olsen about.
Well, not many people run on Pudge to begin with.
He was going and was able to regroup. That would not have been a good play to get picked off there.
Pudge's numbers, career-wise, throwing out base stealers, are just incredible. 42% in his career. Mid-20s is considered pretty good. If you get up in the low 30s, you're having a good year. His career is at 42. And as a result, only one attempted stolen base this year.
He can shut down a running game.
And he's caught, this is his 13th game, and he's been behind home plate. Two and two. And now they run the count full to 3-2.
Now, in this case, as a runner, you don't want to get picked off. You're not getting a great jump. You just want to be on the move. 3-2, 2 out. A lot of first basemen in this case would play behind the runner. Dunn's still there, but he's a little bit off the bag.
Cantu takes in, and the Marlins have runners at first and second, and up comes Uggla.
Well, you look at that last game, that Scott Olsen pitched. We've talked about it against the Dodgers. His ball club won 1-0. He went 7 innings. He's walked only 1. So he's walked more than that already here in this first inning.
See the OPS number for Uggla. A lot of his numbers way up in April over his career. Chopper to third. Zimmerman makes quick work. And Olsen escapes. 2-0 Washington. All shapes, all sizes. It's one of the most popular nights at the ballpark. And remember 2 years ago when Bark at the Park was actually the setting for the movie Marley and Me. Owen Wilson, Jennifer Aniston, and Marley got loose. Out onto the field he went. This was filmed during a Marlins game on Bark at the Park night. Some people weren't sure what was going on. They thought a dog got loose.
Yeah, a lot of people actually thought a dog got loose until they looked up and saw Jennifer Aniston and then forgot about the dog.
And Owen Wilson. Velasco misses inside. That's the scene where he actually got out on the field. And so did Jennifer Aniston. Here's the 1-1. And it's down low.
Kind of important, I think, right here for Ricky to come back in this inning.
It's a nice touch. Roger Bernardina is up. And he rolls it foul. There it is. That's the replica Hanley medallion or the batting title. 2-2 coming. We have yet to spot the Dachshund in the mini batting helmet, which is always a popular dog.
You have to finish eating the ice cream before you put the batting helmet on.
And Nolasco does not look like the Ricky Nolasco his last 2 times out. And we check in with Frank Ford. Frank?
All right, thanks, guys. You're right. He doesn't look like the guy who pitched in Philadelphia and Colorado. And one reason Ricky's been successful this year is his ability to put guys away with 2 strikes. In fact, in 0-2 counts this year, Ricky has not allowed a base hit in any 2-strike count, an 0.87 opponent's batting average, and he's been tough with runners on. Although those numbers will take a little bit of a hit because in the first inning, the Zimmerman homer and the Willingham RBI both came on a count with 2 strikes in it. But that's one of the reasons that Ricky has been successful, his ability to put away hitters when he gets a 2-strike count on him. Guys?
Ian Desmond, there's a 1-strike count on him.
And you have to keep your eye on certain runners, Bernardino one of them. And in our chat with Jim Riggleman today, they are running more. He has certain guys that will take off. There are guys even like Josh Willingham he'll have on the move occasionally. So you have to be careful. Bernardina has good speed.
Hammer was running back in the first. I know it's not an excuse, but it is a theory, and I might as well trot it out here. First start after a start in Denver. Some pitchers feel that first start after a start at Coors Field, especially if it's a lengthy one, can be a tough one. You buy that?
I don't know what the theory would be. My question would be why. I mean, you're actually maybe using a little more energy in Denver because of the altitude. So you're back into more familiar grounds, your home turf.
Well, the feeling is that you use so much energy in that Denver start that it affects your next start in terms of your stamina, your legs. I'm not selling it. I'm just saying it.
And I'm not buying it either. You know, he's 27. He's got strong legs. He likes to go deep into games. And it's early in the season.
That was his line against the Rockies, 105 pitches. And keep in mind, he had thrown 115 in his previous start. Here's the 1-2. Runner on the move. That's a strike. The throw not in time. It kicks off of Ugla, rolls into center field. Bernardina starts, stops, and then gets to third. And the Marlins defense, which has been horrendous this year, you can add another total, another error to their season total.
Well, the good news, it's a called strike, called third strike, but the ball skipped away, and that allowed Bernardina, who hesitated a little bit. He wasn't quite sure how far that ball was into center field. Now, you have to be, this is a situation you always have to kind of think about squeeze. I don't know if the Nationals will do it, but you have to be aware of it after Bernardina reached on the error.
Infield's in. Olson's up. And he fouls it into the glove of Paulino. 22 errors now for the Marlins. The Braves and the Dodgers both with 21 errors going into play tonight. Of course, Atlanta has lost 9 in a row as they open up their game against Houston.
Yeah, the Nationals now leading the National League in stolen bases. That was number 24 as a team. Scott, not a bad hitter. He put the bat on the ball.
See if anything's up on the 1-1 pitch. One and two.
Now's that opportunity for Ricky to try to put him away. This is where when you are a strikeout pitcher and you have this situation where you'd love to get the strikeout, that's what Ricky's thinking right here.
Yeah, breaking ball got him. So there's the strikeout. 2 in the inning, 3 on the night. Baker Concrete Super Saturdays. Get a concert, fireworks show, and of course tomorrow night Willie Chirino, salsa legend, will be here. Followed by the Spirit of Michael Jackson Laser Spectacular on May 15th. 1-877 Marlins, the number to call. Nyjer Morgan now with Bernardina at third. And a breaking ball from Nolasco. It's 1-0. Morgan, even though he hasn't been in the big leagues a whole lot, is a career 300 hitter.
you talked about when he came on board with the Nationals. In his now 120 games as a Washington National, he's hitting over 300, 307, with 42 stolen bases.
Ricky's thrown an awful lot of pitches so far, 40 of them. Three and one. Morgan leads the National League in triples. See Bernardina, he walked, stole second, moved up on the throwing error by Paulino. Popped him up. Cantu has it. Nolasco gets through the second. Marlins are down a couple. Or the Astros take on the Braves. Coverage of Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Budweiser at a special time, 3 Eastern, following This Week in Baseball at 2:30 Eastern on Fox. Check your local listings for the game and start time in your area. Bark at the Park night. Marlins down 2-0. Ronnie Paulino punches one into right field for a base hit. Speaking of David Wright, it's a good night to be a third baseman from Virginia. Ryan Zimmerman, who played at Virginia, hit his 3rd homer of the season to open up the scoring in this ball game. And David Wright, another Virginia guy, hit his 4th of the season, and the Mets lead the Phillies 3-1 in the second. And somewhere Mark Reynolds is watching all of that for the Diamondbacks, another Virginia third baseman.
The way he swings the bat, he has a good chance of going deep every time he steps into the plate.
Cody Ross takes down low. Ross, a homer and 11 RBIs. Missed a couple of games in the Padres series with the flu. He did come in as a pinch hitter in the last game of the series and did deliver a pinch hit.
So he's continued that little hot streak he's on right now.
Pops this one up towards the line. Bernardina is over and makes the catch. It's a good thing he's got his dark glasses on his cap, Tommy, because if suddenly at 7:50 Eastern the sun were to appear, he'd be okay.
Yeah, that has to be a style look right now. The sun is not going to appear anymore tonight, I guarantee it. So style points for Roger Bernardina.
Either that or he has an endorsement deal and he's got to wear the glasses every game. Here's Gabby Sanchez. Some nice articles on Gabby in a lot of the local papers, with UM night tomorrow night here. Sanchez, of course, a hometown kid who grew up as a first-generation Marlins fan.
Interesting with that nice swing. He had a good swing, just fouled that first pitch back. We've seen him and talked about his patience at the plate, going deep into counts, but every so often he'll change his thought process. It's John Toohey, too. Look at that. Great catch, great play.
Making friends.
Making friends. Influencing people. But on first pitches, Gabby Sanchez is 5 for 10 when he puts that first pitch, swings at that first pitch.
Some people will look at that and say, well, why doesn't he swing at more first pitches? Let's look at Toohey, too, in action.
Always with good hands, good reactions.
I'm amazed the gum stayed in his mouth.
Yeah. And never missed a beat with his camera angle either. Hey, John!
1-2 pitches foul back. You know, some people look at that stat, 5 of 10 when he swings at the first pitch. Says, well, why doesn't he swing more? In the number 8 spot in the lineup, you're not getting a lot of first pitch fastballs to hit.
And if you start swinging at that first pitch fastball, pretty soon you're not going to see first pitch fastballs. The league learns how to adjust.
And it's instantaneous now. I mean, it used to be word would get around the league month and a half, 2 months. Now it's everybody's got an iPod that's got all their at-bats on it. The pitchers will get to look at all the hitters' at-bats that they're going to face from the night before.
Pitchers, let's say Scott Olsen, I don't know if he did this, but he could probably pull up other left-handers of similar nature, similar style of his, and pull up their games against the Marlins to see how they got certain hitters out.
And there's the patience of Sanchez.
So he's walked 2 batters tonight when he's gotten ahead 0-2. Chris Coughlin and Gabby Sanchez.
Walked 3 total.
Now the Marlins against left-handers this year are 4-2. They've done a pretty good job over the last couple of years. Tied with the Braves for most wins against left-handed starters, 33.
Velasco looking down to Joe Espada to see if he's going to bunt here with 1 out. Don't have a lot of speed lumbering in from first in Adam Dunn, and you don't have a lot of speed at second trying to go from second to third with Ronnie Polino, so this could be interesting.
You want Dunn to field this ball, though. He's learning first base. Is he a little bit better than last year? Yes, because he's primarily playing first base this year. Last year he was kind of back and forth, but you still have a big guy there, 290, 6'7". So you want him to feel it, not the Gold Glover at third, Ryan Zimmerman.
Ricky gets the bunt down, but it's, well, Zimmerman picks it up, throws wildly, and just gets the
third base. Snap decision, and got the throw over to Kennedy quick enough. He was able to come off the bag and then get back on the bag.
Maben now with runners at second and at third.
But nice bunt by Ricky Nolasco.
Cameron pulled a 3-1 pitch to the shortstop. His first time up. Marlins on Fiesta Fridays this year wearing the Los Marlins jerseys. One ball, one strike. Maben is knocked in 4 this year. Paulino, Sanchez, the Marlins have had trouble, and we've seen it and talked about it in the last 7 to 10 days. They've really had trouble adding on runs. This is not an add-on situation. But one of the odd stats that the Marlins have this year, they are one of the best teams in all of baseball with runners in scoring position. .317 average. That's second amongst all major league teams. And you wouldn't think that would be true having watched this team for the last week.
You look at the ball club as a whole, you try to pick apart different areas. Why are they 11-11 right now? And there are a lot of areas that you could point to.
Maben sends that one foul.
So I think not to put blame, but just to look at different areas. You have two guys right now at the top of the lineup who've been struggling. Chris Coghlan and Cameron Maben, both with low on-base percentages. They're not getting on base. And I would think if some things don't change in that area, we could see some shuffling in the lineup.
Coghlan is starting to show signs of life. Maben has had his moments. Zimmerman, the Gold Glove winner from last year, makes the play. And the Marlins strand 2. They left 2 in the first, 2 more here in the second.
And welcome back to Sun Life Stadium. Bark at the Park night, and we're up here in section 402. This is Randy. How you doing, Randy? Doing good? And this is George's owner. Looks more like a bear. What kind of dog is this?
He's a Chow mix. He's got a little Chow and a little German Shepherd, actually. His mother was a German Shepherd. His dad has some Chow mix, you know, so he's 5 years old. He's a pretty good guy, you know. He plays a mean center field at home. He catches the ball off the wall. He gets the frisbee on the air. He's a pretty good athlete, you know. And
how much does he weigh?
75 pounds.
Shed much?
Yeah, he does. He does. He sheds. You know, I use a special shampoo, special formula, and he does well. In summertime, you know, he sheds more than any other time.
First ball game for him?
No, he came 2 years ago when they had Bark at the Park. We came 2 years ago, and we're back this year, and he likes it. He enjoys it.
All right, thanks very much for the visit. Appreciate it. Enjoy the game, Randy. Good dog. Back to you guys.
I think he has discovered that Frank has Scooby snacks in his pocket.
And Kennedy with a swing and miss let fly his bat over the Marlins dugout. Everybody seems to be okay. Kennedy will get some new lumber. Yeah, Frank has a ball tonight.
Yeah, see, the dog knows that Frank has Scooby snacks. Adam Kennedy says, I didn't go around on that one. Can you appeal that? 1-2. Oh, he smacks that one into right field. Ross over to pick it up. And Adam Kennedy has a base hit to right field. Kennedy, who had a pretty solid year last year with Oakland, and is aboard with a leadoff single here in the third. Our Coors Light cold, hard blast. He's been out of the lineup for about a week. And Ryan Zimmerman delivers for the Nationals. His third of the season, and now here's Nolasco and Zimmerman again.
Well, Zimmerman delivered 33 times last year.
Don't fall asleep on Adam Kennedy. He has stolen 4 bases this year. And as Tommy pointed out, Jim Riggleman has a lot of guys running up and down this lineup.
Yeah, it's and this is the way Jim Riggleman put it. He said, I don't have a lot of blazing base stealers, but a lot of guys who run the bases well. Not quite as sharp tonight is Ricky Nolasco. Got a little trouble putting away Kennedy on a 1-2 pitch. That was the pitch he hit for a base hit.
Randy St. Clair, very familiar certainly with the Nationals organization. Pitching coach in Montreal and in Washington. A strike and it's 2-1. The fact that the Nationals are improved. If and when Strasburg joins the rotation, that'll make them even better. I think that makes the likelihood of a team in the East winning 97, 98 games, that diminishes that likelihood.
I agree, yeah. You're not going to have teams, actually the way the Marlins have the last few years, beating up on the Nationals.
It could make it tougher for a wild card to come out of the East. The West could be a tough place for a wild card. The Padres obviously are much improved. There's a look at the National League East standings. Atlanta's on top of Houston 2-1 in the second right now. With Kennedy on the move, that ball fouled back.
If he's on the move 3-1, he's going to be on the move 3-2.
Dodgers are stumbling in the West.
Dodgers have lost 5 straight.
Rockies and Diamondbacks an even 500. Marlins at 11-11, and the Nationals a game in front of them at 12-10. Runner on the move. Zimmerman hits another bomb to right center field. Back goes Maben to the track. Looks up. Gone. Ryan Zimmerman, his second, opposite field. About 410 feet from home plate.
Well, both home runs that Zimmerman has hit tonight on 3-2 pitches. Remember, the first one looked like a fastball up and in. This time, Ricky goes away with a slider. Didn't quite get it out far enough. And look at that concentration and how Zimmerman doesn't roll over on it. He stays right with it and drives it into a deep part of this ballpark.
24th at bat for Zimmerman in his career against Nolasco, and his 3rd home run. So it's 4-0. Done now. Takes a breaking ball that Nolasco thought was a strike. You saw him pause there. Brian Gorman thought it was up. 1-1. Dunn got to Washington last year after 8 seasons in Cincinnati, and many thought that his home run total would fall off. And it did by a couple. From 04 to 08, he hit 40-plus homers. In a 5-year stretch, only 7 others in Major League history had ever done it. And last year, he ended up with 38.
Good comeback to get done. Some nice curveballs to get him to hit that ground ball to first base.
Replay, fueled by Gatorade, returns with an all-new season. High school teammates reunite 11 years later in Hockeytown. Follow the journey of Catholic Central versus Trenton. ReplayTheSeries.com. I don't know if Robin Williams and Kurt Russell will be playing in that game. Willingham, a swing and a miss. Hammer with an RBI single back in the first. Best of Times was that movie. Scott Hopkins has that on DVD. Our statistician.
Not only does Scott Hopkins give us baseball, Marlins, statistics, he's plugged into IMDb and gives us all the movie information we need.
I just had a hard time believing Robin Williams is a wide receiver in that game.
He'd have the defense in stitches.
Willingham did not go. He counts 2-2.
Rich, you were talking about the divisions, the NL East and then the West, about wild cards. And then if you look into the Central, right now the Cardinals are getting unbelievable starting pitching.
There's a strikeout. Willingham goes down.
Good to see. All of a sudden, after that home run, good pitches to Dunn, good pitches to Josh Willingham. The starting 4: Carpenter, Wainwright, Jaime Garcia, and Brad Penny for the Cardinals are 12-2, and their collective ERAs in the 2s. Now, you get that kind of starting pitching every night. Kyle Loesch is a low man on the totem pole there. He's 0-1. But those other 4 have been off to a tremendous start.
Here is Pudge, singled back in the first. Brad Penny gets the ball tonight against Johnny Cueto. The Reds are in St. Louis. Reds have won 4 in a row. Cardinals have won 5 in a row. And Penny's ERA is a minuscule 0.94. How about that?
Yeah, his ERA 0.94. Garcia's 1.04. Wainwright is 2.13. He's 4-1. And then Carpenter 3-0 with an ERA in the low 3s. Saw Pudge's son before the game. He's a young man now at Chaminade High School, Lauderdale, going on to the regionals. And he's an outfielder not built at all like his Gold Glove dad. That's what Pudge said. He said, yeah, he's got an outfield body.
Pitch number 70, and Paulino couldn't hold it. It's 1-2.
Always a pretty good program there at Chaminade. Look at the pitch count for Ricky here in the 3rd inning.
And the likelihood is that Nolasco will be followed by an H, a Hensley or a Hopper.
Just to put that in comparison to the 71 pitches, he threw 109 pitches in his complete game in Philadelphia.
Breaking ball called out on strikes. Nolasco finishes the 3rd, but Zimmerman gets him again. Solo shot in the 1st, 2-run bomb here in the 3rd. Hey, Frank.
Hey, Rich. We're out here amongst the canines. We're here with Mary, and this is Stella. Is this the first time you've brought Stella to bark at the park?
It is, yes.
Is she enjoying it?
She's loving it.
Yeah.
She's getting everybody to sing along.
Purebred Beagle?
Yes.
Okay. And was she a rescue?
Yes, she was. She was a rescue. She's about 2 to 4 years old, supposedly.
Okay, great. And she's a singer. Can we see a demonstration of that?
Stella, sing. Sing. Come on, sing. Stella, sing.
It's your time, Stella. Come on now. This is the big audition. Now, Stella's got stage fright. What can I say? You know? She was baying up a storm before we went on camera. And wouldn't you know it, now she's quiet. What's the matter, Stella?
Oh, Stella.
No, she ain't going for it, guys. Sorry.
But she knew Coughlin was coming up.
Yeah.
Hey, Frank, that's happened to Letterman, too.
Yes, that's happened to Letterman. It's good. All right, guys, back to you.
All right. Stella. Hanley and Cantu.
Hey, another nice swing. Chris Coughlin.
Coughlin walked in the 1st, singled here in the 3rd. And Hanley hits a ball a mile high in center. Niger Morgan, who is terrific defensively. The ultimate zone ratings, one of the metrics they use.
He's a lot of fun to watch.
He is. And he was the #1 rated outfielder, center fielder in the National League. I believe Franklin Gutierrez of Seattle was #1 in the American League. Hanley going after the 1st pitch, and he's flied out twice. Cantu walked back in the 1st. Olson has looked vulnerable in both innings. The Marlins have had 2 runners on in both the first and the second.
He hasn't been as sharp as we've seen him in the past. And usually when he's comfortable and a little sharper, he works faster too. Changeup missing down. Remember, there was a time when he was with the Marlins. His fastball was 90, 91, 92. Then he kind of fell off a little bit, and mostly he sat in the upper 80s with his fastball. His changeup is a lot more effective when he's in the low 90s with the fastball.
Cantu takes a strike. It's 2-1.
There's 88 on that fastball.
Coghlan still at first. Nationals have 2 Ryan Zimmerman homers and a 4-0 lead. Cantu fouls it back. Ugla on deck. 3-game series against the Nationals. And then the San Francisco Giants. And maybe the best starting rotation in baseball come into town. Although Tommy just trotted out those numbers from St. Louis.
Yeah, tough to beat that rotation.
Cantu sends that one out Morgan's way. Super Saturday tomorrow night. Of course, it starts with a ball game at 7:10. Fireworks show follows, and then salsa legend Willie Chirino takes the stage. 1-877 Marlins, the number to call. First 25,000 fans get Thunder Sticks. University of Miami night tomorrow. We'll be wearing our special Marlins shirts.
I think, Rich, we could fill up our closet if we had FIU night, FAU night, Lynn University, Barry, Nova. We could have all kinds of shirts. UF, bring in UF, FSU.
I'd like to see a UF night. I'd like to see Florida State night.
But I would, those are further away, and yeah, that would be nice, but I would like to see all the local universities in this area, and there are a lot of good ones.
If he were a dog, he would be a pug. And Brian Sanchez, who delivered the lineups, dropped a pug on Daniel. Our Geico quote of the night on getting off to a better start than I have in past years. I can't say it means anything, but it definitely has been more fun than past Aprils. Ugla's number, especially his on-base percentage, up. Homers and RBI is pretty close to where it has been the last couple of seasons.
I'll tell you why it's more frustrating, and we'll get into that next inning, about getting off to a slow start.
Ugla goes down on strikes. That's the first strikeout for Scott Olson on the night. Not by much. But right now the Nationals have built themselves a 4-0 lead. All Nationals so far. All Ryan Zimmerman so far. Well, not all Ryan Zimmerman. Josh Willingham has an RBI single. But Zimmerman has 2 homers. Ricky Nolasco on the bottom third of the National order here in the 4th. And a breaking ball, a strike to Roger Bernardina.
The last time Ricky Nolasco lost a game to the Nationals was 2006, his rookie season. He is 7-1 in his career against Washington with an ERA, a nice respectable 3.86. But if things don't change tonight, that could change.
He struck out the last 2 hitters he faced in the 3rd inning. In fact, speaking of strikeouts, if you want to go back to the start of 2008, only 2 National League pitchers have more strikeouts than Ricky Nolasco. Tim Lincecum, who leads by a bunch, Dan Herron, then Nolasco is 3rd on that list. Ubaldo Jimenez is 4th, and Cole Hamels is 5th. And add another one to Ricky's column tonight.
It's kind of an unusual night because there have been times where he's made good pitches like that. There have been times he hasn't been able to put away a hitter. There's a look at that list you were talking about, Rich, and look, there's some great names in there.
Look at the distance between
who would have thought
Herron and Lincecum.
Marlins will see Lincecum in that San Francisco series. They haven't named their starters yet, the Giants. But it looks like he will probably pitch the 2nd game, the Wednesday game.
Marlins have Anibal Sanchez in the 1st, Nate Robertson in the 2nd, and then Ricky scheduled to go in the finale of that series. Off day on Monday. The series opens on Tuesday. Chris Volstad and Craig Stammen a right-hander, go tomorrow night. And JJ gets a Sunday start against John Lannon.
Yeah, with Ricky pitching tonight, Barry Zito's pitching tonight for the Giants. They could match up the last game of that Giants series.
Barry Zito has been pitching very well.
He's 3-0 with an ERA of 1.32.
That ball is smacked by Desmond in the gap, and it gets through to the wall. Desmond can scoop. He'll stop at 2nd. I think that ball was hit a little harder than Cody expected. It really took off once it got in the gap.
A few mistakes. We've seen Ricky miss upstairs with fastballs, pitch that Zimmerman hit for a home run, and this ball is spanked into right center sharply. Remember that series Desmond had last year when the Nationals were here? He impressed everybody. He impressed everyone so much in spring training, he won the everyday shortstop job, too.
And he's a Florida native out of Sarasota. Olsen fouls it back. There he is, Ian Desmond.
Yeah, Sarasota High School.
He was recruited by and committed to play college ball at South Florida. And then ended up signing with the then Expos, now Nationals. It's really an odd feeling sometimes when you do a Nationals game, because you're not sure whose history to cite, whether it's the multiple franchises that have been in and out of Washington as the Senators, or this franchise, the Expos.
I think you have to roll it in with the Expos and disregard, not forgetting about the old Washington Senators. Great curveball there. but it's a kind of a different conglomerate. The Expos became the Nationals. So
yes.
It's a little different.
Yep. 7 strikeouts, our AT&T trivia question tonight. Is it canine related? Look at that. How fancy is this?
Nice.
What is the...
That looks like my phone.
Team record for wins in March and April for a Major League team. I'll bet you that Detroit Tiger team.
Oh, they got off that 35-5 start?
Yeah.
84?
Yeah.
Jim Holley on the edge of his seat. Every one of those games. Our director, big Tigers fan.
No, Jim was in bed by then. His bedtime was very early in 1984. Niger Morgan is up with a runner in scoring position. Velasco misses on a breaking ball.
Of course, that would just get a big lead for the Tigers and turn it over to Willie Hernandez. Or was he Guillermo Hernandez? Yeah, I'm not sure.
Two and one. Yeah, this is the 6th season in Washington, D.C. for this franchise. They spent 36 years in Montreal. Two and two to Niger Morgan. Chopper. It's going to be a tough play. It's off Hanley's glove and into center field. Morgan is racing to second. There's nobody there. The Nationals get a run. Morgan gets a double.
There's a situation on a ball that you know with a runner at second base and 2 out. Niger Morgan has speed. Instead of making the play, knock it down, keep it in the infield. By doing that, it allowed a run to come in and score. So if you can just knock it down, that ball scooted away from Hanley. But you're always told that infield, knock the ball down with a man on second, keep him from scoring.
Kennedy takes inside. It is 5-0 Washington.
And I think you saw a little bit of the speed of Niger Morgan hustling to second base on that.
Not many guys hit a chopper over the mound and get a double out of it.
Well, it was heads up on his part once he saw the ball deflected by Hanley and just rolled into shallow center field. He never hesitated around first base.
What's amazing about Morgan when you talk to guys like Jim Riggleman, who have seen him now for a good season, is how smart he is in terms of baseball instincts for a guy that grew up playing hockey.
Guys used to say that about Larry Walker. He had great baseball instincts at the plate, on the bases. For guys who hardly played much baseball as kids.
I mean, he grew up a San Jose Sharks fan because he was in the San Francisco Bay Area, left home to play major junior hockey. Two and two. I think with this new center field view, you get a cleaner look. Like that pitch, Paulino framed it, kept it on the corner, but it was a true look, and it looked like it was on the corner.
I think also in watching Ricky tonight, you see velocity's good. He has 7 strikeouts. But he's missed a few times, a number of times. And when he's missed, he's had to pay.
And a couple times he's missed, and Ryan Zimmerman has hit it out of the park. Tobacco-free Florida. Escape the addiction of tobacco. Be free. Visit FloridaQuitline.com and by AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. 5-0. The Nationals on top of the Marlins. In the bottom of the 4th, Scott Olsen right now shutting out the Fish. So for Olsen, he's put together 10 consecutive shutout innings. He threw 7 scoreless innings against the Dodgers. And he has blanked the Fish for the first 3 here.
Well, he certainly dealt with his share of injuries last year. A lot of shoulder problems. He had the shoulder surgery last July that ended his season. But when he's healthy, he's always been a guy that's going to give you 30 starts and generally keep you in a game.
Ronnie Paulino again. Both of his hits to right field. Cody Ross coming up. We check in with Frank Fort.
All right, guys, I've got the dog's dog for you. Now, this is a dog. This is Tallulah, and this is Michelle. And what is Tallulah?
A blue Great Dane.
And you rescued her?
I did.
Now, you brought her from where? And
Islamorada, down in the Keys.
And you came all the way up here for Bark at the Park. Why?
Absolutely. We do it every year. We won't miss it.
Why so?
Because it's going to a great cause.
Okay.
You know? Rescue leagues.
And this dog weighs 143 pounds. She weighs more than you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you feed this dog?
A lot of little dogs. No. I don't feed her little dogs. She eats very good food, science diet.
Yeah.
And
she eat a lot?
She eats 6 cups a day.
Okay. Well, it's great to have you here. Nice to meet you in Tallulah. Guys, that is one large dog.
And there's our first dachshund who doesn't look real comfortable next to the...
Yeah, the dachshund's making for the hills right now.
That's an hors d'oeuvre. Hey, Frank. Cody Ross to left field. Willingham is there. Hey, Frank, do they have dog concessions up there, like dog snacks, Scooby snacks?
Yeah, they actually do. They're selling doggy toys and treats in the back here, and again, all the proceeds go to the Humane Society. They've even got little wading pools back here if the dogs get hot. So it's a great setup. I encourage you, if you've got a dog, bring them out to the park for Bark at the Park the next time they have it.
It looks like a rather large contingent of dogs.
There is a lot of people and a lot of dogs up here. I mean, it is packed.
It seems like, Frank, every year we get more.
Yeah, it gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, as the word gets out, and as Michelle just said, it's a great cause, the Humane Society. I've got a dog at home that's a rescue dog, so, this is something that's close to my heart as well.
See, now, We're not even pumping those sound effects in. Those are actual.
That's all natural.
It's not like a gusto, you know.
That'll be taped for next year.
And how about this, guys? Can we get a shot of this? This is the real Marlin fan dog right here.
Hold on. Let's get this 1-0 pitch in, and we'll get to you. It's a strike.
See that? Now that is a real Marlins fan dog right there. I'm being overwhelmed here, guys. I'm being overrun by dachshunds.
We're still looking for the one in the batting helmet. Gabby's up there with a count 1-1, 1 out, 5-0 Nationals. He yanks it. Foul.
We've been talking about rookies, and I know it's very early in the season, but it's nice to put up some comparisons. Tyler Colvin off to a good start with the Cubs. Look at Gabby compared to Escobar, Ian Desmond, who's here tonight, and of course everybody's heard of Jason Hayward. Hayward with more home runs and RBIs, but he's tailed off in the batting average department. And let me put one other number up there for Gabby Sanchez. He came into the game with an on-base percentage of .400.
This one he gets under. Willingham, who knows that left field so well. Hammer will be happy when he doesn't have to come play in this ballpark in a couple years, because this has always been a challenge for him with the lights, the football lights.
Yeah, they used to give him a lot of trouble. Clay Hensley, you mentioned that it would be Hensley or Badenhoff. Hensley getting loose as Brett Carroll is going to pinch hit for Ricky Nolasco. So kind of an odd outing tonight for Ricky. The stuff was there with the number of strikeouts, 7 strikeouts, but gave up 8 hits and made some mistakes, and sometimes you get away with those. Tonight he didn't.
So it's Brett Carroll, and Paulino is still at first. Runners in every inning. The Marlins have stranded 5. Leadoff man aboard in 3 of the 4 innings.
By the way, Ronnie Paulino now against Scott Olson is 10 for 22, a .455 average, and continues to just destroy left-handed pitching.
He'll get a lefty on Sunday, John Lannon. 0-2. BC pulls it foul.
Started to talk last inning, I think it was, about players that get off to a bad start. When we were mentioning Dan Uggla off to such a good start, it's so frustrating because you put in all the time, all the effort, all the work into spring training. You get yourself physically ready, you get your stroke down, and then all of a sudden it doesn't click, and it's frustrating. You go 3 weeks, you struggle after all that hard work in spring training.
Struck him out. Down goes Carroll. The Marlins leave another. They've stranded 6 through 4, and Scott Olson is shutting out the pitch. A first inning home run, and he would go on to hit a third inning home run. This one even more impressive. Breaking ball opposite field. Just as Ryan Zimmerman has given the Nationals the edge, you too can keep your edge with Just for Men mustache and beard. There's one of the areas for the dogs in the upper concourse. Zimmerman's up, but he's not facing Nolasco. He faces Clay Hensley.
Well, the last time we saw Clay Hensley, it was against his old team, the San Diego Padres, 2 innings, and Clay had 6 strikeouts. He had it all working.
Nothing can get Zimmerman out tonight. That's going to the wall. Have a night. Well, sore hamstring and all. He takes it easy.
He's taking it easy with that hamstring. A couple of trots on the home runs and coasted into second base that time.
Our AT&T trivia question, and the answer: which Major League team had the record for wins in April and March? On 2003, the Yankees won 21 of 27 games.
Well, it started out well for him. It didn't finish well for him in 03.
No, it didn't. Ask Pudge. He'll tell you. Here's Dunn, who tripled in the first, bounced out in the third.
And the Marlins are going to have to go some to have a winning April. 11-11, the last game of April.
It was May of last year that really did in the Marlins. A month they never could quite recover from after getting off to such a hot start.
By the way, this outing tonight, the shortest outing for Ricky since August 12th, 09 against Houston.
Dunn looks at a strike. Adam Dunn last year struck out 177 times but walked 116 times. He's one of those guys that will strike out a lot and walk a lot.
His career on base percentage coming into this season, .383.
Last year of what was a 2-year deal he signed last year.
See, there are hitters around baseball who get the Nick Johnsons, who are patient, get big on base percentage. Nick Johnson's hitting about $150, but they don't give you the long ball, the 5 years in a row of 40 home runs that Adam Dunn does.
Or Jim Thome does. You saw Thome's
good changeup. Good changeup got him there. Jeremy Hermida used to be that a lot. Used to take a lot of pitches, but he didn't give you 40 home runs. Good changeup, good arm action, and great location.
Hensley gives up the double to Zimmerman. Now he faces Willingham, the pride of North Alabama. His wife is in town with the 2 little hammers. Has I want to say a 3-month-old, but a new baby boy in the family.
Always fun to see Hammer and his wife Ginger. His parents aren't here. I talked to Josh about that, but many times they'd come down and stay for a weekend, a long weekend, or a week.
RBI single in the first for Josh, and he takes outside.
So they've probably left us for Bob Carpenter
and Rob Dibble.
Such is the life of Major League Baseball.
Zimmerman at second. Hensley steps off. You know, the amazing thing about, and it kind of explains why the Nationals were as bad as they were last year, Willingham wasn't even in the starting lineup the first month of last year. Remember, he was sitting on the bench.
They had all kinds of guys in the outfield. And you mentioned it in our open, the fact that they had kind of a disjointed roster. They had like DHs, 2 or 3 DHs.
They had like 7 outfielders. They had
Austin Kearns,
Elijah Dukes, Lastings Millage, Willingham. Dunn was an outfielder last year. I think Willie Mo Pena made a special guest appearance in the outfield. Hensley rings up Willingham. You realize the last 8 outs he's recorded have been strikeouts?
We saw this in spring training, and this is what you get when you have a guy who has done some starting, but he has all 4 pitches, and he can get guys out with the changeup, with the curveball, spot his fastball. So nice comeback after the leadoff double of Zimmerman's.
Pudge Rodriguez is going to the Hall of Fame. Will he go in as the greatest defensive catcher of all time? Or does Johnny Bench hold
Boy,
that?
that's a good one.
You played in Bench's
yeah,
era?
that's a good one. Because Bench would give you the defense and 30 or 40 home runs.
Hit him. Clipped his forearm.
You mentioned a few more bats, and Pudge will be amongst the qualifiers in the batting race. Right now, Pablo Sandoval, the Giants, hitting over 370, 373 coming into play. We'll see Kung Fu Panda next week.
Well, Pudge tonight is 1 for 2, so he just needs the 2 at-bats to qualify, and he'll be leading the National League because he came in hitting 400. Now Bernardina. Nationals also last year had that young outfielder Justin Maxwell,
who's back up with him now too.
Mike Rizzo, now their general manager. It's a good changeup again.
You know, so much talk about Steven Strasburg, their number 1 pick. Their number 2 pick, Drew Storm, out of Stanford, outstanding relief pitcher. He was just moved up to AAA. So you don't think it'll be too long before Strasburg joins him in AAA.
I'll tell you, one of the great stories for the Nationals, it's a nice play, has been their closer, Matt Capps, who has surprised everybody and has saved 10 of their 12 wins.
And I believe that leads the National League. Yeah, it does. And Matt Capps, another one of those East Cobb guys that,
along with Hermida,
Jeremy
Frank
Hermida
Coor,
hit a big home run against him.
Yeah, they are good buddies. Hensley strikes out 3. His last 9 outs recorded are strikeouts. How are you tonight?
Hey, guys, how you doing? Tell me, how are you?
Hey, Cookie, Raúl, ¿dónde está tu perro?
Hey,
en
wait
casa.
a minute.
En casa.
Say hello to my little friend. He's back. How you doing, Tom and Richie?
Good.
Hey, ¿dónde están los perros suyos?
No, en mi casa, dos gatos.
Oh, really? Dos gatos. Don't bring him over tonight, though. How about you, Tommy? Do you have dogs?
No dogs. My 2 sons each have a dog.
Oh, sweet.
So we have dogs.
I grew up on a small farm, and we had just about one of every kind of dog over the course of my childhood. So
Nice.
it's fun to see all these dogs in the ballpark tonight.
Absolutely. I love dogs, and just to see them and try to figure out which breed they are, it's awesome. Love it.
It's not so much fun, guys.
Losing 5-0?
Yeah. And watching Ryan Zimmerman pump balls out of the ballpark.
Wow. Hey, but how about Hensley, huh? 9 outs, 9 strikeouts.
We were just talking about that, and our crack staff is furiously leafing through record books and minutia and websites, trying to find if that's any sort of record or approaching any sort of record.
Well, it's good to see because we're going to need him out of that bullpen. He's doing a tremendous job tonight.
Yeah, he has. I mean, he's pitched well in certainly in spring as a starter, and he's starting to make that adjustment to coming in for 2 innings every 2 or 3 days.
You know, the thing is, Richie, once you get the opportunity to do something, and he has done that, he kept himself in shape, and when every time he got a chance to be up in the mound, he's proven that he belongs here, so that's a good sign for the Marlins.
Yeah, I think what it does, too, Cookie, it gives Freddie that ace in the hole. If somebody falters in the starting rotation, he's got a guy he can plug in.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And him and Sanchez, too, coming back, so that's going to be good for us.
And as you saw there, yikes, Maven takes one right down the middle.
Yep.
Hensley's an intense character for sure. Cameron Maven on an 0 for 3 night. Scott Olson has been very sharp tonight.
He's done a tremendous job changing speeds and everything else. Sometimes he walks a lot of people early in the ballgame, but it seems like he got some rhythm going now, and is getting with that 4 or 5 runs lead, and it makes it a lot easier for him.
Also, we have to remember he's running into form now. He spent most of the spring training just trying to get that arm strength back from missing part of last year with that surgery. So, you know, he's only getting better, I think, as the season's going to start now getting into high gear.
And speaking of streaks, he's got an 11-inning streak of scoreless ball going after his start against the Dodgers. Coughlin fouls it back.
Let's hope that streak ends pretty soon, huh?
Yeah, the other thing, just in watching him, Marlins had base runners the first couple of innings, left 2 men on each of those innings, but he's working faster now. He's got a little better rhythm, as Cookie mentioned, and he's throwing more strikes. Plus, he has a big lead.
Well, you know, it makes a big difference, too, when you have behind the play a catcher like Pudge Rodriguez, too.
That's a great point. We've been talking about that. All right, it's Cookie, Raul, and your little friend.
Thank you, Tommy, Richie.
Have a good one.
All right, guys, you too.
That's the line of the year right there by Cookie Rojas. Hello to my little friend. The bucket is back.
It's been a while since we'd seen the Colonel.
We had, you know, we get all kinds of emails on Email Tuesday. We've had a variety of ones asking, where is the bucket?
Well, with the disjointed schedule, a couple of no TV games, we haven't really gotten in sync and consistent with Email Tuesday. So I look forward to Tuesday night in that Giants game.
I think next year we should send a memo to the schedule makers and make sure there's no off days on Tuesdays.
Do they read our memos?
No. We read their emails, but they don't read our memos. Olsen bounces one up, and it is 2-1. Well, the Nationals in the offseason signed the veteran, Jason Marquis. They thought putting a veteran presence out in that rotation would help solidify the rotation. Desmond And Scott Olson works his first 1-2-3 inning of the night.
You going on here? This is your dog?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Riley. She's a girl.
And it's obviously a husky. Beautiful eyes. How long have you had him?
A year and 5 months.
Yeah. It's the first time you brought him to bark at the park?
Yeah. Yeah.
You having fun so far?
Yeah.
Is you going to eat the ice cream and hot dogs?
Yeah,
that's what I want.
That's for her. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
She has a big appetite.
Big appetite.
Yeah.
Eats a lot?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, enjoy the game, guys. Hey, by the way, since it is Bark at the Park night, Rich and Tommy, a little shout out to my dog at home, Axel. I call him the 50-pound hound. He's actually a mutt. He's probably got some Doberman, some Rottweiler, probably a little Beagle. He weighs about 50 pounds. I've had him for about 3 years. He was a rescue dog. So Axel Fort, that's my dog back at home. So Axel, have a good night. Guys, back to you.
Frank, you're playing the role of Buck Laughlin tonight.
Buck Laughlin. Wow.
Buck Laughlin. That was the character in Best in Show.
Best in Show, that's right. Love that movie.
Fred
Hysterical.
Fred Willard.
Yes.
Fred Willard is outstanding.
That was a great movie. Very funny.
That's right. How much do you think I could bench press? Among other memorable lines.
I would be remiss to not give shout-outs to my granddogs, I guess they would be. Colby, Stella, and Trucker.
Didn't we already have a Stella on?
Yes, we did earlier.
The dog, the stage fright dog.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Fred Willard in the Best in Show.
He's got 2 left feet. Hensley throws a strike. It's 0-1. Olson has punched out twice. Hensley actually got an out that wasn't a strikeout. And Hanley, long throw. Look at Olson hustle up the line, and Scotty legs out an infield single.
He could sniff that first base hit of the year. And I guess on Bark at the Park night, there's a lot of sniffing going on.
Yeah.
He could tell he was going to get that base hit, got up the line quickly, and it's a 1-out infield hit.
Niger Morgan hit a chopper over the mound that turned into a double. It glanced off of Hanley's glove. Ian Desmond, who was at second, ended up scoring because the ball trickled into shallow center. And when Uggla and Hanley went out to retrieve the ball, when they looked up, Morgan was already at second. Slicing liner is foul.
See, to me, when I see a guy like Nigel Morgan get to the big leagues, 33rd round pick, that's some good scouting for a club. And he was not drafted by the Nationals, by Pittsburgh. But just to take a chance on a guy, probably because he had terrific speed.
It's two things, I think. It's the good scouting, but it's also being fortunate enough to be drafted by a team like the Pirates, who, if you can play and you put up numbers, you're going to get a shot in the big leagues. And that's not true about a lot of organizations.
Yeah, you get buried in some organizations who aren't going to take a chance on a player, young player, and you could get buried in the minor leagues and never get that opportunity.
Our Toyota trends. Toyota moving forward. Washington has won 6 of the last 9 against the Marlins. They had lost 25 of 28.
Yeah, remember that stretch? The Marlins were 25-3 against Washington. But as that graphic pointed out, they started to get a little bit better those last 9 games.
As we talked about earlier tonight, if Washington is a 500 team or a little bit better all year, all of a sudden the East really is a difficult place. Another strikeout for Hensley. 4 strikeouts for Clay Hensley. Family Sunday's coming up on, appropriately, Sunday the 2nd. 1:10 finishes the series. First 5,000 kids get a Chris Coughlin Kids Cap, courtesy of Jiffy Lube. And all kids can run the bases in the Diamond Dash. 1-877 Marlins.
11 1/3 innings for Clay Hensley. He has 18 strikeouts. He mixes it up so well. 2 seams, goes away, change-ups, breaking ball.
He wasn't used for a stretch simply because the Marlins didn't have a need. And Hensley with another strikeout. My goodness. 5 strikeouts. Hensley is on again tonight. what's going on tonight is a couple Ryan Zimmerman home runs and another shutout being thrown by Scott Olson.
And a guy who actually the last 3 innings has thrown better than he did the first 2 innings.
Cantu, Ugla, Paulino. Cantu's walked and flied out. And Olson, is that a straight change, or is he just taking 5 miles an hour off his fastball?
Yeah, a little bit every once in a while when you see his changeup's usually 81, 82. Then he'll give you a little BP fastball. His fastball's been around 88, 89. There it is. And then the term that's used that he's doing so well tonight, he's adding and subtracting very well.
Cantu just over the glove of Ian Desmond. So the Marlins have their leadoff hitter aboard for the 4th time.
You know, it's amazing. Jorge Cantu still has just that one game where he was hitless. So he's hit in 22 of 23 games now this year.
Ugla's 0 for 2, a strikeout and a fielder's choice. Well, I think a lot of people are surprised by the Mets and their fast start. And they continue to play well tonight. 7-1. The Mets are on top of the Phillies. David Wright, Jeff Francoeur, and Rod Barajas.
Barajas with a big home run, and it's, you know, you look at what has gotten it started, and it all begins with pitching. Jonathan Neese with a nice game tonight. Pelfrey's been on fire. Of course, Johan Santana always gives Jerry Manuel a solid game.
Hard to believe that the first month of the season is ending here. Ugla fouls it off. It's 1-2.
Yeah, the Mets trying to make it 8 in a row with a win against the Phillies tonight.
Atlanta's trying to snap a 9-game losing streak. They lead Houston 4-2 in the 6th. This copyright telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. And that fan now. You have to buy a ticket for the Dogs to get in. That's not counted in the official attendance, but we do have a record that was set last year in terms of dog ticket.
Oh yeah,
dog tickets
we
that were
usually
sold.
Get an accurate record as to how many dogs attend. We'll have that for you later, I'm sure.
What about the little dogs?
Frank's up there counting right now.
There might be some dogs that sneak in bags and purses. One, two. Cantu a leadoff single. Marlins trying to get something on the board against Olson and the Nationals. And Olson jammed him. Good running fastball in on the hands of Uggla.
Yeah, it was a good pitch. Tied him up, had him thinking away. 2 times in a row he went inside. See the target? Put set up there, pitch right there, ties up a strong hitter in Dan Uggla. Talking about Ronnie Paulino, 2 for 2 tonight. 10 for 22 against Scott Olson. He's also hitting .450 against left-handers as we check in on the biker dog.
Do they have dog tattoos? Because if they do, that dog has one.
Kind of a branding of a dog.
Paulino. Both base hits to right field.
We didn't send our well wishes the other night. I think everything went successfully for Bob Uecker, Hall of Fame broadcaster, long time, 40 years with the Brewers, had heart surgery today.
Another pop-up. Kennedy out. Bernardina's in. And it's Bernardina that makes the catch. And it's good to see Tommy. He's taken the sunglasses off his hat.
Word from the clubhouse.
Brian Bruni.
And I'm sure in the next, if not tonight, we'll discuss at some time some of the changes they've made in the All-Star game this year.
Well, they've added another player. DH will be used in all games, American or National League Park.
Yeah, as it was.
And Ross
in the American League Park.
Tattoos one into left center field. Cantu's going to take third easily. Marlins have a couple of hits. Up comes Gabby Sanchez.
Cody working on a 4-game hitting streak now. See the pitch. Ooh, what, belt high. Beautiful pitch to swing at. Cody has a nice swing. And it is last 11 at bats now. Cody Ross has 6 hits.
Jim Riggleman is on his way out, and he wants to talk to his lefty Scott Olson. The rule of the big rule changes, which ones do you like? Which ones are you not too hot on?
I think adding a player is good. I think because there always was some questions as to a starting pitcher. One of the other rules is if an all-star is selected and he starts on Sunday, it puts a manager in a bind. So now that pitcher is ineligible to pitch. And
but he does get to go to the game.
He does get to go.
He's
recognized, announced as an all-star. And also a player who comes in the game, once he comes out of the game, a manager can designate a player who, in case of injuries or something else, he can come back in the game if needed.
Sanchez, a liner right to short. And the Marlins leave 2 more on base and still haven't scored.
For deck, this is John with Smokey decked out in all the Marlins paraphernalia. He's pretty calm about this.
Yeah, he seems to be having a really good time at the ballpark tonight.
First time you brought him to bark at the park?
Last year we were here as well. Yeah, it was very fun.
And why'd you decide to bring him back?
The dog is part of our life. Goes everywhere we go. Okay. Everywhere.
All right, well, enjoy the game. I'm going to run down here one more. Veronica over here. Who do you have, Veronica?
We've got Coco and Gonzo.
And they're pugs, obviously.
Obviously, they're pugs.
And this is the dad, and this is the daughter.
Dad, and this is the daughter.
So it's a real family night, huh?
Yes, it is.
First time at Bark at the Park?
Yes, it is. And we're definitely coming back.
Why so?
Because it's awesome.
Having a good time.
Definitely.
And your husband's off getting food for the dog somewhere.
Yes. He's going to hate that he missed this.
All right, well, enjoy the night, and nice to meet you guys. Look, this is like the calmest dog I've run across all night. Guys, back to you.
He's apparently a national fan, Frank. That's why he's pretty pleased right now. A 5-0 Washington lead. Cody Ross comes in, and the Marlins have finally retired Ryan Zimmerman.
Boy, get the game ball. First time Zimmerman's made it out. A good pitch, a breaking ball, another good pitch from Clay Hensley.
8 games, 2 homers, 2 RBIs in this ballpark. This year, 3 at-bats, 2 homers. And he's driven in 3, although Clay Hensley has been superb again in this one. As Tommy pointed out, his appearance on Wednesday, 2 innings, all 6 outs were strikeouts. His first 3 outs recorded in this one were strikeouts. He punched out 2 more in the 6th and has the first out of the 7th. Having a guy like Hensley as your middleman is pretty darn good. But at what point do you say to yourself, I wonder if you could put him in the rotation? I mean, that's a real juggling act for a manager, because you want to have arms like Hensley in the bullpen.
Yeah, it's kind of a catch-22, because obviously if you do that, you're taking somebody out of the rotation. Then you have to ask yourself, is that person you're taking out of the rotation and putting in the bullpen, is that going to help your bullpen at all?
Or will it disrupt what this person is built? Because Hensley is, you almost get the sense that he's got the rhythm down now of being a reliever, of coming in every 2 or 3 days.
But we've also talked about all spring he was used as a starting pitcher for the most part. And he was a few years ago with San Diego, the starter. So he knows the drill both ways. Change up.
Wow. 6 more strikeouts for Hensley. Let's freeze something here. It's the Coors Light 6th inning. Time for the Coors Light freeze cam. It's a dog-themed freeze cam. Now, this was the best part of Bark at the Park, because before the ball game,
look at the freeze cam. Cody!
Nice work. Oh, no tongue. No tongues. The Frost Brewed Coors Light freeze cam. What movie is that from? I think it's Blazing Saddles, I want to say.
You're really reaching back now.
The no tongue.
The old Alex Karras.
Mungo.
Blazing Saddles.
0-2 to Willingham. Hammer has struck out twice as an RBI single. And Hensley just misses outside.
The tough part in the case of Clay Hensley pitching so well is that in an outing like tonight, now you lose him for a couple of nights. You're not able to use him.
Clay Hensley has struck out 7 Nationals tonight in 3 innings. Brilliant out of the bullpen, but the Marlins need some runs. Trail the Nationals 5-0. at the Park night tonight. Marlins and Nationals. And it's been all Nationals with Jeff Conine, Frank Ford, Tommy Hutton, and about 1,600 dogs at the ballpark. Mike Lamb gets a pinch hitting appearance. Willie Harris, a special guest appearance in left field, and he'll hit ninth. And Scott Olsen's night is done after 6 very good innings. Brian Bruni takes over for the Nationals.
Yeah, the last few years for Brian Bruni, time with the New York Yankees. Good numbers last year for the Yankees. One of those max effort guys, good fastball, slider.
Olsen went 6 innings, 5 hits, no runs. Lamb takes up. For Bark at the Park, 2,562 adults, 1,665 dogs, and 345 kids came in with the Bark at the Park record. One hopper that Dunn picks. So a new Bark at the Park record for dogs, 1,665.
Well, that number has just grown every year.
And so that means a nice amount of money raised for the Humane Society. He does not qualify.
Guess who else is in the house?
Cameron Maben now. Maben is 0 for 3. Marlins don't have a lot of hits in their lineup. Ronnie Paulino has a couple. Jorge Cantu, Cody Ross, and Chris Coghlan all have singles. Marlins do not have an extra base hit in the ballgame. And Bruni misses up. So Olsen, last start, 7 scoreless innings in a 1-0 win against the Dodgers. And tonight he goes 6 scoreless innings in what is a 5-0 lead for Washington. Maben takes that one right down the middle. It's 1-1.
Brian Bruni, we mentioned with the Yankees last year, 5-0 with a nice ERA in the 3s in 44 appearances.
Brian Sanchez in the bullpen. Chopper, Kennedy backing up on it, and he makes the play. Marlins and Giants will finish off this homestand. It's a Tuesday through Thursday series. Every game is at 7:10. Look in the Miami Herald for the 2 for Tuesday coupon. And on Thursday, get the Marlins eSaver offer from Marlins.com. 1-877-MARLINS today. Marlins baseball. Freddie Gonzalez got an uneven start from Ricky Nolasco, which is odd to see. Nolasco has been so good lately. He gave up the 2 homers. That one is going to loop in for a base hit. Coghlan has his second hit of the ball game, and things are starting to fall for Cogs. He's 2 for 3 tonight.
7 for his last 20 now. I think there are times that he goes in and out of being patient. He does see a lot of pitches, and that's good. But I think there are times that it's good to see some aggressiveness and going after that first pitch. A lot of pitchers try to pound that fastball into him, and he was able to get enough of it to drop it into shallow center.
Oh for 3 for Hanley. He's flied out a couple times and bounced out. A dry spell for Hanley this past week. It's 2-0.
we haven't seen Hanley get on one of those tears that he's so capable of doing.
That's low, and now it's 3-0. Cantu, then Uggla. That caught the corner just barely. Tyler Clippard, Matt Capps have been the two most effective relievers for the Nationals. Bruni's ERA over 5.
There's that max effort fastball, a good one. Got Hanley and chasing.
Max effort swing.
Pitch goes out of the zone and gets Hanley chasing. So Hanley has not had good swings tonight. Remember the pitch earlier in the game, a 2-0 pitch that he hit for a shallow fly ball, and then chasing that 3-1 fastball.
Full count, 2 out, runner on the move. Hanley bangs it into center field.
Tried to go up there again and didn't get away with it.
Coughlin to third. So the Marlins once again have 2 runners aboard. They had it in the 6th. Didn't score. They had it in the 2nd, and they had it in the 1st. Time now for our leaders of the game, presented by JM Lexus. RBI leaders against right-handed pitching: Chris Young, Matt Kemp, Jorge Cantu, all with 17. At JM Lexus, Price made us #1 18 years running. Click jmlexus.com to find out how.
By the way, it was nice to see the adjustment by Hanley. Bruni tried to go up again with a fastball. It wasn't quite as high, but Hanley was able to adjust to it, saw it, stayed on top of it, and hit the hard line drive.
Steve McCaddy, the pitching coach for the Nationals. He replaced Randy St. Clair last year, and he's out to talk to Bruni. Building that bridge from starter to Matt Capps is something that the Nationals have tried to do, and I told you that Clippard is one of the more effective relievers. Tough not to say Clifford on a night like tonight.
A lot of managers still working on building that bridge to their closer.
Jim Riggleman, Maryland native. Grew up as a Senators fan. Jorge takes a strike. Coughlin, a 2-out single. Hanley followed with one up the middle.
Funny how this game goes. A couple of years ago, we were up in Seattle talking with John McLaren, manager of the Mariners. Shortly after that, he was let go. Well, one of his right-hand guys on his staff, on McLaren's staff, was Jim Riggleman. And now McLaren is here on Riggleman's staff.
Riggleman had the distinction of being the interim manager 2 years in a row in 2 different cities. That one is just foul. He was the interim in 08 in Seattle, and then last year in Washington.
That was an emergency swing on Cantu's part. He almost picked it out of Pudge's glove.
You rarely see Cantu hit a ball that way. Usually see him hit it that way. Desmond bare hands and doesn't get him. The Marlins are on the board. That was almost an incredible play. But it's a base hit, an RBI hit for Cantu.
Well, a couple of hard hit balls. Look at this. Deflected by Zimmerman. Desmond is right there, knew that his best shot was to first base. I think he had to think about second, but realized that Jorge Cantu's an average at best runner. But the bottom line, Marlins get a run. Jorge Cantu gets a second base hit tonight.
Jim Riggleman has seen enough from Brian Bruni. Tyler Clippard is coming in. Here's our Marooney, called to the pen.
When you need a car, truck or van, please.
You watch his deliveries, kind of herky-jerky, over the top, good live fastball, a breaking ball, but his changeup's probably his out pitch.
Ugla, 0 for 3. Hanley's at second, Cantu's at first. Up and in. Obviously, one swing gets the Marlins back in this thing.
Well, Riggleman knows that. The Marlins know that. That's why Riggleman didn't like what he saw from Bruni. Bruni got 2 quick outs and then gave up 3 consecutive singles.
Clippard, in his 12th game, has not given up a home run this year.
There was that changeup. Clippard and the entire National League knows that Dan Ugla can hit the fastball.
You look for ways to improve your ball club, and for the Nationals, their bullpen ERA last year was over 5, worst in the National League. Seems they've made some improvements there. Defensively, the Nationals last year made 143 errors, worst in the major leagues. And just watching them the first month, they've made improvements there.
Well, they've committed just 14 errors this year. Put that in perspective, the Marlins, the Dodgers, and the Braves have all committed 21 coming into play tonight.
2-2.
Marlins with 22 now with their error tonight.
Clippard trying to elevate right now, and Ugla staying alive. University of Miami night tomorrow night, big night, a Super Saturday. And the series concludes on Sunday, a 1 o'clock start.
The Hurricanes and Willie Chirino.
Marlins live pregame tomorrow night as a big Gabby Sanchez feature. Full count, 2 outs. Hanley and Cantu will be on the move. Let's see what Ugla gets to hit on 3-2. Threw him a changeup, and it was in the dirt. And so it's Paulino and Clippard with the bags juiced and 2 outs.
They used to say that's respect there. Change up to Dan Ugla. John McLaren, we were talking about him a few minutes ago. A change up to Dan Ugla with 2 outs, 3-2 pitch, knowing that if he missed, the base would be loaded. It tells you 2 things: respect for Ugla, and that's a good pitch for Clippard usually.
This is up and into Paulino.
I think if Ronnie Paulino were struggling swinging the bat, but he has a couple of hits tonight, and he's had much better at bats against right-handers this year. I think if he were struggling, we'd see John Baker here.
Paulino does not walk much at all. 38 at bats. He's walked twice.
Kind of like Miguel Olivo.
Yeah. How about Miguel Olivo? Cantu, Ugla. You saw Hanley at third. One coming. Oh, wow.
Had to be looking for something else. When you see a hitter take a pitch that good to hit, you know he's probably thinking something else. Maybe the breaking ball, maybe the changeup. And the fastball was right there.
Got another one, doubled up on it. Miguel Olivo, in case you didn't read the story or see it on television, after we left Colorado, the next game he was playing, left the game, came in actually between innings, stepped into the restroom in the dugout and passed 2 kidney stones, put his gear back on and went back out and finished the game.
Now that's a gamer.
That's why we call him the strongest man in baseball.
Wow.
One, 2. High fastball. Somebody asked Olivo if he figured, it was just another injury that he just played while hurt, and Olivo said, no, I wanted to die. I wanted to die in the dugout. But he got through it, and he went right back out. Here's the 2-2. That's in the dirt. And it's 3-2. Oh.
Think about this now. Clippard's missed. He missed the Ugla 3-2 changeup. He missed badly with that one. You have to think as a hitter, not 100%, but you have to be ready for the fastball here. Now, if Clippard throws a changeup and it's a good one, you tip your cap to him, but you have to think fastball here.
Bases loaded. 2 outs. Marlins down 4. Line drive, right center field. Morgan dives. Oh, tumbling catch. Niger Morgan, one of the best center fielders in the National League, just saved 3 runs. we go to the 8th inning. Our defensive play of the game, that's an easy one, brought to you by the Home Depot. Bases were loaded, full count, 2 outs, runners on the move, and Niger Morgan sells out, makes the catch, robs Polino. Home Depot doing more on defense. When this is all said and done, maybe Matt Capps gets the save. That, my friends, was the save.
You can do all you want as Brian Sanchez comes in to work. We set the stage. Ronnie Paulino did get the fastball. He was ready for it. He ripped it. It looked like it was going to split the gap in right center. It would have cleared the bases. But Niger Morgan with a tremendous play.
Jim Riegelman told us at the end of last year that the Nationals were a different club with Niger Morgan in center field and hitting leadoff. And it really showed last year. We told you that they were 23 and 29 when he was in the lineup after the trade with Pittsburgh. And obviously he's been in the lineup from the get-go here, and they're 12 and 10. And remember, this is a team that's had the worst record in baseball the last 2 years. Pudge is up. Sanchez takes over.
Yep, a save could go to Niger Morgan. By the way, watching Brian Sanchez, you see some similarities between him and Clay Hensley. They each will use more than just one pitch. Brian Sanchez with a fastball, also has a curve and a slider. He'll use a changeup that's like a split. What's amazing, the Nationals have a 5-1 lead. They've struck out 14 times tonight. Ricky got 7 of them, and Hensley got 7.
And the Marlins have left 11 men on in 7 innings. Ooh.
Number 2,
Roger Bernardina coming up. Yeah, night where Ricky Nolasco got knocked around in his 4 innings. Gave up the 5 runs, the 2 big hits, the Zimmerman homers, a solo shot in the first, a 2-run homer in the third. Bernardina takes outside. But as Tommy pointed out, Hensley was brilliant in his 3 innings. Gave up a couple of hits. Struck out 7. And didn't walk anybody. Reniel Pinto. Meanwhile, in this topsy-turvy National League East, the Mets have gone into Philadelphia and have a 9-1 lead in the 9th. Atlanta is an inning away from snapping their 9-game losing streak. 4-2, they lead Houston in the 9th. Jason Hayward is homered, his 6th. Nate McLouth has hit his 2nd.
We're struggling right now with his command is Brian Sanchez. I think the Mets will get a little taste of Roy Halladay tomorrow night.
Cincinnati finally got a little taste of Roy Oswalt last night. Oswalt finally got beat by the Reds. There's a strike. I think only the 2nd time in his career that Oswalt had lost to Cincinnati.
Yeah, you had that number the other day. His unbelievable career numbers against Cincinnati.
Runner goes on a 3-1 pitch, and it's outside. And you're right about Sanchez struggling. Our Jaguar performer of the night, Clay Hensley. 3 innings of shutout relief in which he punched out 7 Nationals. In his last 5 innings of relief, there's 12 strikeouts.
And what you don't want to do, you don't want to hand them over a couple of more runs. It's bad enough a 4-run deficit. You don't want to let them extend that a little bit more by walking the first 2 hitters. So now a jam for Brian Sanchez. But one thing, when you look into the Nationals bullpen, nobody's warming up. So Jim Riggleman is going to try to get another inning out of Clippard. So right now you have the number 8 hitter and then Clippard to follow. In a double switch, I take that back. It's Harris, the Willie Harris in the double switch. That's why Jim Riggleman did that.
Ted Barrett, the first base umpire. Desmond, the pride of Sarasota. He's been in the minor leagues for 6 years, but he's only 24. I told you he signed as a high school kid.
He was always rated as their best arm in the minor leagues. Tremendous throwing arm.
He had the great start. You see Pudge and Bernardina. His first 4 games in the big leagues, he went 10 for 17. Ground ball, Hanley drops it, flips it, and gets just the out.
See, again, just a little play like that. It's not an error. The Marlins get an out, but they had a double play right in front of them. If Hanley picks this cleanly and flips it to Dan Uggla, it's a double play, and all of a sudden you're looking at one more out to get out of this inning for Brian Sanchez. Now, runner at third, less than 2 out, makes it much more difficult. So it doesn't go down as an error because you record the out at second base, but it's a double play that should have been turned. You start giving away outs like that, you can't win games at this level.
Willie Harris playing the role of super sub for the Nationals. Very versatile. "31-year-old, his 3rd year with Washington. Been in a few places and done a lot of things. Last year he played 2nd, 3rd, and all 3 outfield positions. He, of course, was on the 2005 world champion Chicago White Sox team.
We saw him have a pretty good year with Atlanta.
Yes.
In 07.
He's platooned with Matt Diaz.
Played a lot of left field, yeah.
And he was born in the same hometown as Jackie Robinson. Runner goes. Paulino's throw, runner coming home. Hanley fires home. Paulino got him. Wow.
I think the Marlins may have gotten a break there, but they'll certainly take it.
Pudge is not happy as he barks at Brian Gorman. Now Jim Riggleman is out to talk with him. Hanley's throw was on the first base side of the plate. And here's another look.
A good throw by Ronnie Paulino. Hanley comes up and gets it, but throws it on the other side, the wrong side. Good effort by Paulino, but did he really get Pudge before he got to the plate? I don't think so. Very close. Pudge has it a safe call. A good slide by Pudge to come around with the hand. He knows as well as anybody what a catcher has to do right there. A great effort by Ronnie Paulino, but I think the Marlins got a break.
Do you know how hard it is to short hop a ball backhanded with a catcher's glove? And Paulino just did that and made a sweep tag. But you're right. It looked like the tag was on his back and Pudge's hand was across the plate. But the Marlins could use a break or two.
Pudge is summing up the whole thing. He sees Paulino go up the first baseline, goes around him. Tell you what's closer than you think, though, when you see that angle. But I think his hand was on the plate at that time.
Of course, we just had 5 looks in slow motion.
Yeah. Brian Gorman had to make a split-second call.
Goes as a caught stealing. Counts full at 3-2. Morgan is on deck. Morgan has played a big role in this game, has an RBI double, and so far the defensive play of the night, a diving catch that saved 3 runs. Tapper back to the mound. Sanchez has it. He will flip on to first. After walking the first 2 hitters of the inning, Brian Sanchez escapes. Still 5-1. Over 20,000 the paid attendance, not including the dogs. Cody Ross, Gabby Sanchez, and the 9 spot for the Fish. Tyler Clippard into his 2nd inning in relief. Spins one up there and gets a strike. It's 0-1.
Yeah, last inning, Clippard struggled with his breaking stuff. Had to rely on a lot of fastballs. If he starts spinning that slider and changeup up there for strikes, then he becomes tougher.
Ball and a strike. Ross has a single and has lined out. Clippard, 2nd out of the bullpen in relief of Scott Olson. Another great start for Olson. He's put together back-to-back starts just like the one he has tonight. 7 shutout innings against the Dodgers, 6 shutout innings against the Marlins. 2 pretty good hitting ball clubs.
Sounds like the Dodgers are having some internal problems too.
Some internal problems that have become external.
Yeah, Ned Coletti, their general manager, made some comments, some statements about Matt Kemp, his center fielder.
Clippard strikes out Cody Ross. It's nothing that a 7 or 8 game win streak won't solve.
It always seems to take care of everything. By the way, I think on those last 2 pitches, you saw the ability of Clippard, the changeup for strike 2, and then came back with a fastball for strike 3. about 10 or 12 miles an hour difference, too.
Gets a strike to Gabby. Wes Helms is on deck. It's the bottom of the 8th. It's 5-1. Nationals on top. Marlins have had their chances all night long.
Well, he has such good arm action with that changeup.
By arm action, you mean arm speed?
Speed gives it the appearance as a hitter that it's a fastball, and then it just floats up to the plate.
There's Helms. Of course, as we pointed out, the back of the Nationals pen is very good. Matt Capps has had an outstanding start to his season. And Gabby goes after that high breaking ball. Clippard, who looked wild in the 7th, looks untouchable in the 8th.
Yeah, and all of a sudden the slider and the changeup have found their way in the strike zone.
Tommy always gets excited when we read this one. You get behind-the-scenes Marlins information on Twitter. Follow us all season at FS Marlins on Twitter. Sign up and follow us today at twitter.com/FS Marlins.
And you know that I'm just a tweeting fool.
Yes.
Instead of Wes Helms, we saw Wes on deck, had a man reach base. If Gabby had gotten on base, we would have seen Wes, but with nobody on base and 2 out, we're going to see Brian Barden here. Had a nice game the other day, got the start in the afternoon game. Got himself a base hit, made some good defensive plays.
This is a good example of how a team in the National League, when they fall behind early in the ball game and lift their starter, have to eat up their bench trying to climb back in it. We've seen that a few times where a manager has to do that and then ends up getting back in it and tying the game and getting to extra innings and having nobody left.
That's what happened in that 20-inning game with St. Louis and the Mets. But I think the bottom line, when you manage, you can't think about that. You can't worry about if it's tied. You have to try to win at all costs.
Yes. Wow, Clippard is really, he appears to be throwing harder than the radar gun, if that makes any sense. I mean,
that's because of his delivery.
I mean, it pops up at 92 and you're expecting 95, 96. I think these swings and misses also help with the illusion. Barden works a walk.
Good job.
And that's going to bring Maven up.
Number 24,
Maven bounced to second his last time up, 0 for 4 tonight. And Clippard misses high. Early chances. The Marlins stranded 2 runners in both the first and the second inning. Stranded 2 in the 6th. Had the bags loaded. Ronnie Paulino hit a bolt in the gap in right center that Niger Morgan made a diving, tumbling catch on with 2 outs. And the runners on the move. Ooh, that's a tough strike. That slider almost looked like it darted outside.
It's almost hard enough. It could be a cut fastball, just a little movement that takes it away from a right-handed hitter, but 89 miles an hour.
Kicks away from Pudge. Barden moves up. Two and two. Of course, the Nationals have the 2 home runs from Zimmerman. Hit him. And Maben's aboard. It's going to bring Coughlin up. Clippard has thrown now 32 pitches. Be interesting to see if Caps gets up with 2 outs in the 8th.
Well, that fastball just totally got away from him. And all of a sudden that phone is ringing in the Nationals bullpen.
Jim Lett, the bullpen coach, answering the...
And it is going to be Matt Capps getting ready.
Now Steve McCaddy's going to buy some time by wandering out to the mound. Almost looks like an all-star team out there with Clippard wearing the blue cap and Pudge wearing the red helmet. It's almost like he's still got his Rangers helmet on.
Well, you're right. It's a little combination of both, trying to calm Clippard down, but also to give Caps an opportunity. If the inning continues, if Chris Coughlin is able to do something to get on base, I think that might be the last guy Clippard sees. They may go to Caps.
Barden and Maben. And here now is Coughlin. 2 for 3. And Clippard's all over the place now. This was the...
Now he's reverted back to the way he was last inning.
In the 7th. He came out and struck out the first 2 hitters, Ross and Sanchez, here in the 8th. Change up, 4 strike, 1-1.
That tells you right there that he doesn't feel that he can throw his fastball for a strike. I mean, he'd been all over the place, just hit Cameron Maben, and he threw a 1-0 changeup for a strike. Another changeup. Yeah, that 1-0 changeup will confuse you as a hitter.
Fastball threw it by him, and Clippard gets out of trouble, and the Marlins leave 2 more. They've left 13 on base. hosts over 20,000 humans, along with the Marlins and the Nationals, and it's the Nationals who are on top right now. Time to go home. Some dogs hanging in there. Renyel Pinto out of the bullpen.
Yeah, the bullpen tonight in 4 innings as Pinto gets ready to work the 5th inning for the bullpen. They've given up just 2 hits and no runs. They have done their part in trying to keep the ball club in the game. The offense has had opportunities. You pointed all the men left on base. 13 men left on base, ties the season high.
Nyjer Morgan takes down low. With Dan Meyer on the disabled list, Pinto the lone lefty out of the pen, and Morgan cracks one into right field for a base hit, and that's the oddity of a guy like Renyel Pinto, who gets righties out better than lefties because of that great changeup. It's not necessarily an oddity in a negative way. It's just you assume that lefties out of the pen are going to get lefties out. And you'll run into right-handers that can get lefties out because of that very same pitch, that changeup.
When the Marlins had Joe Nelson, Joe had that good changeup, was very successful against left-handed hitters as a right-handed pitcher.
Kennedy jumps on one. Another lefty pokes it in the corner. Morgan is really racing around third and coming to the plate and gonna score. What a ball of fire Nyjer Morgan is. And Adam Kennedy has his second hit, 6-1.
No, you're right. The left-hander is very comfortable against Renyel, and the reason he doesn't have that nasty slider, that breaking ball that goes away. Now, watch Nyjer Morgan. Over his shoulder, he takes a peek. Touches second, picks up his third base coach. Hat falls off, rounds third, never hesitates, and scores on that double by Kennedy.
See, that's just like when he was playing for the Regina Pats, and he would get in a scrap. Gloves come off. He was he got in a few fights, he said, when he was playing major junior hockey. That's where you have to prove yourself at that level, whether you can fight or not. The NHL scouts are all there watching. Ryan Zimmerman. 2 homers and a double. Not a bad night's work.
He never had to go up against the Hanson brothers, though, did he?
No. The Charleston Chiefs. Though I think Ernie Shore would have liked Nyjer Morgan as a hockey player. Regina, Saskatchewan. I've been there. Worked in the Western Hockey League for 3 years. Some long bus trips, my friend. Moose Jaw, Kamloops, Brandon, Medicine Hat.
How's the meal money in that league?
What meal money? The Lethbridge Hurricane. (3-1).
Right now, Rich, the way the game is going and the way things are going for the Marlins, they're going to have to shake things up the next couple of days. I don't know what it's going to take, but something's going to have to happen.
Well, Pinto,
I don't mean
wants Zimmerman
trades or anything like that. Just something internally in the clubhouse. Guys are going to have to take charge. Top of the lineup going to have to start getting on some key base hits. Hanley's going to have to catch fire.
Adam Dunn is 1 for 4. Another lefty that Pinto is facing. He's faced 2 in this inning. Nyjer Morgan and Adam Kennedy both hit it hard. Morgan a single, Kennedy an RBI double. Bullpen was pretty darn good after Ricky Nolasco's first 4 innings. Clay Hensley, 3 innings, 7 strikeouts. Brian Sanchez escaped in the 8th inning.
With the lead being stretched out, now instead of Caps, it's Miguel Batista, veteran right-hander, loosening up.
Two and two. Caps sits down. Down goes Dunn.
And that's the anomaly of this game. 15 strikeouts now. The Nationals have gone down. So Nyjer Morgan's been a spark plug, but they've gotten some big base hits even though they've struck out a lot.
After the ball game, Ricky Nolasco's big night. We'll tell you who Tony Plush is. He bears a striking resemblance to the guy on the right. And get you ready for Chris Volstad's start. Alberto Gonzalez. This is the pitcher's spot when Jim Riggleman double switched with Willie Harris. Marlins felt pretty good about things tonight with Ricky Nolasco going. But the tone of the game was set when Ryan Zimmerman pumped one in the seats in the first inning. Adam Dunn then knocked one off the top of the wall in center. And Josh Willingham scored him. Zimmerman hit a 2-run homer in the third. Nyjer Morgan an RBI double in the fourth. Morgan's catch prevented a 5-4 game. It was 5-1. Bases loaded, runners moving. And Ronnie Paulino's shot in the gap was caught by the diving Captain Morgan.
A game like this sometimes will make you resort to Captain Morgan.
Whatever it takes. Whatever he can do to help the team. Coghlan in. And Chris makes the catch.
Number 7, catcher Rodriguez. Number 7,
Here's Pudge.
No, Pudge has a base hit. He's been on base 3 times though tonight. Hit by a pitch, walked.
Started the season last year with Houston, and then made the jump back over to Texas. Of course, he spent 5 years with Detroit. Got to the World Series with the Tigers in 2006. They lost to the Cardinals. First 13 years of his career were in Texas. And that's one of the amazing things about his career is that he caught in that inferno in Arlington for 13 seasons. And he would routinely play 140, 145 games a year. Look at the active hit leaders.
Think he'll get to 3,000?
Boy, I don't know. I think Jeter certainly is on target. Don't think that Griffey or Vizquel are going to get there. But if Pudge keeps hitting like he's hitting tonight, that ball clanks off of Cody's glove, and a run's going to come across at 7-1. You know what, Tommy? He might just get there, because with one more at bat, he becomes eligible in the National League batting race, and he'll be leading the league in hitting.
Number 2,
Well, as a player in that hot heat in Texas, 10 different times he hit 300 too. So not only Gold Glove catching, 300 hitter. Came into the season, Pudge did, with over 300 home runs, 305. That's an error charge to Cody, by the way, in right field, allowing the runner to go to third. So it's an RBI for Pudge. But Zimmerman getting to third on the error.
And that's the Marlins' second error of the night, their 24th of the season.
And you factor in also whether or not it turns things around, but you factor in the double play that could have been turned, that Hanley bobbled a little bit before he got the feed to Ugla.
The Morgan double that was a bouncer over the middle that was deflected.
So sometimes it's more than just an error that stands out. Another area of the Marlins game that's going to have to tighten up.
And it's not like the Marlins don't work at it. Freddie Gonzalez and Carlos Tosca today had the ball club out early. Defensive drills for about 45 minutes before they hit, which is not commonplace in the big leagues. Pinto finishes the inning, but the National AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T. Rethink possible. Marooney. Hey, South Florida, when you need a car, truck, or van, who are you going to call? 1-877-MAROONEY. By FP&L. To learn smart ways to conserve energy, log on to FPNL.com and take a free online home energy survey. And by South Florida Ford. Visit SouthFloridaFord.com for great offers. Tonight, Sun Life Stadium. On a Fiesta Friday, a Bark at the Park night. Over 1,600 dogs attended. Over 20,000 fans were here. Miguel Batista showed up. And he finds himself pitching in the bottom of the ninth in a 7-1 Nationals lead.
Well, a guy who actually, for a brief time, spent some time with the Marlins in 1996, 9 games. But he's been around Cubs, Expos, Kansas City, Arizona, Toronto, Seattle. 39 years old. Miguel Batista.
Hanley has a hit in 4 trips. The Marlins have left 13 on in 8 innings. Alberto Gonzalez at second. Adam Kennedy shifts over to first, so Dunn is out.
That's another thing. Adam Kennedy's made himself a little more versatile player.
What do you think of this new camera angle from center field, or new center field look?
I like it. I mentioned that earlier in the game. I like the look. I think it gives our viewers a little better shot at borderline pitches. I think, you know, the complaint would be maybe sometimes the pitcher blocks out the shot, but most pitchers fall off to the side. You get a better angle. Good slider there from Batista.
It depends on where the pitcher stands on the rubber as to whether you get to see the catcher's sides. Batista, as an example, stands on the first base side of the rubber, and that's given us a chance to see in and watch the catcher's side.
Which is interesting. A lot of right-handers stand on the third base side of the rubber.
See, what we need to do is go down and move the mound over. Just move the rubber over about 2 or 3 feet. And it's 0-2. I don't know if it was Maddox or Glavine or Smoltz or another modern day pitcher, but there is a story about a pitcher that showed up, I believe, to a spring training park, and told the grounds crew either the mound or home plate, something was off.
It sounds like it would be Maddox.
And everybody just scoffed at him until they got the measuring tape out and the angle out and measured, and he was right.
Maddox was such a professor at his craft. It sounds like it would be a Maddox story.
That's a Joe Simpson question next time we see Joe. Cantu turns on one, hits it deep to left, off the wall, round first. And since his team is down 7-1, and Willie Harris has a decent arm at left, Cantu settles for a single.
Yeah, it's interesting. Not a huge sample size, but that fastball backs up. Jorge Cantu now 6 for 8 in his career against Miguel Batista. Probably saw him some time when Batista was in Seattle. That's a ball that's a home run at Wrigley Field, by the way. Just sneaks into the basket, maybe the second or third row of the bleachers.
Here's Ugla.
Won't be long before the Marlins are in Chicago. After the San Francisco series at home, the Marlins go to D.C., play these Nationals for 3 games, and then play the Cubs 3-game series at Wrigley.
Ugla lifts it in the air, right center, nestles in for a hit. We might see Matt Capps start to get loose again. Watch your head, Matt.
Well, they'll probably wait. Jim Riggleman will until it possibly gets to a save situation. I don't think he'd use Caps unless it gets to that save situation.
Just to be safe, Caps is up, stretching a bit.
He's anticipating.
Paulino is 2 for 4 and should be 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs. Were it not for the heroics of Niger Morgan.
And you know what? You can't say, well, the Nationals got 2 in the top of the ninth, because the score would have been different. We might not have seen Pinto. It would have been a whole different situation.
It would have made the game 5-4. 1-2. West Coast games are just starting in the National League. Mets beat the Phillies badly, 9-1. Rod Barajas hit 2 homers. David Wright, Jeff Francoeur also homering for the Mets. Atlanta snapped their 9-game losing streak. Jason Hayward, Nate McLeod.
Hayward with number 6.
Cubs won earlier today. Randy Wells is 3-0 now. 11-5, they beat Arizona. Kosuke Fukudome hit his 5th. Alfonso Soriano his 3rd. Giovanni Soto his 3rd. Marlon Byrd his 4th.
Fukudome has been hot. He hit a grand slam yesterday. Kind of a day of last couple of days of lots of home runs. Adam LaRoche of the Diamondbacks had a 2-homer game. But John Buck, catcher with Toronto, had 3 home runs yesterday.
Ball in the air. Bernardina makes the catch. Our checkers double of the night, going to be a pair of home runs from that man right there. Zimmerman goes out, a solo shot in the first, and a 2-run shot opposite field.
Well, there's no question he's a good one. He's going to be around for a long time. 25 years old. He's been an all-star. He's won a Gold Glove. And we mentioned 33 home runs last year.
Speaking of home runs, how about Kelly Johnson of the Diamondbacks?
Yeah, he had won his 9 home runs.
Of course, the Braves are thinking to themselves, you know, they're looking for power. They were desperate for home runs the last couple of years. And now Kelly Johnson plays for Arizona, and he's hitting them. Batista.
It's fun looking at box scores yesterday. Dontrell Willis with 6 shutout innings and beat Minnesota.
It's a great matchup.
Who did he beat? He beat Carl Pavano, who pitched a complete game in the loss and gave up just 3 runs in 8 innings. Good to see Dontrell with the win and pitching better.
2 guys who were on the 2003 staff that was handled by Pudge. Caps is looking a little more relaxed. Ross sends it up in the air, and fittingly Niger Morgan is under it. And he makes the catch. The Washington Nationals have improved to 13-10. Ryan Zimmerman goes deep twice, and these Nationals just keep on winning. Game 1 of the 3-game set goes to Washington. Marlins Live is next.